I would like to share with you Chapter 1 of my book, A Story of a Grandma's Love. The first chapter is My Walnut Grove, and yes, this is a true story about my life and how my grandma has been a great influence in my life through hard times. So, here goes. My Walnut Grove did not consist of a horse and carriage. We didn't have to climb way to the top of the loft to go to bed. My Walnut Grove was a place I could see from our kitchen window. It is a place where I learned to deal with all the Nellies in my life as I headed off to school. It was a little white home nestled about half a mile down a long dirt path. Inside that home was enough love for the whole town. It was a place you could always find an open Bible along with a pair of reading glasses that were removed from tired eyes after a long, hard day at work. It was a place where prayer was always welcome, and ears were intent on listening with a heart of understanding. It is a place where feelings were okay, but genuine guidance was given. Looking back, I don't know why my mom and daddy didn't name me Laura. They always put my hair in ponytails and braided them in the front. However, years later, I named my own daughter Laura. And nope, I didn't put her hair in braids as they did for me. However, the memories of those days are still nestled around that sweet name in the little white house in the woods by a small stream we called Nowhere Creek. God often looked after us at Nowhere Creek. Many times we would take our shoes off in summer to feel the cold water hit our bare feet. However, I was the inquisitive one and often afraid of snakes, but that didn't stop us. We would take off down the stream as if our days of fun would never end. Then suddenly supper time would come. We would eat a hot meal that Mama had prepared, get our bath, and go to bed. The next morning we would wake up to the sound of our alarm clock reminding us that we needed to get ready for school. Each day we would walk half a mile to meet our school bus, even in freezing temperatures. We dared not argue that we had to walk. We just bundled up and got down the path as quickly as we could. Back then, buses didn't have heaters as they do now. So even then, we were still trying to get warm all the way to school. Times were a little hard, but it made us grateful. When I arrived at school, this is when all the Nellies in my life would run out to meet me. I was laughed at for how I looked and had my hair pulled by my peers so much it gave me headaches most of the day. Many times I was often called Dumbo because my ears stood out further than most kids. Several times I tried to wear my hair down to cover it up, but then they would proceed to call me the Wicked Witch of the West. To a grown person, this may not seem like a big deal, but to a small child, this can leave a lasting scar. Honestly, I was hoping the ridicule would change when I arrived at high school. I could make new friends and be accepted, but that didn't work at all. The ridicule only grew worse. I always had at least 3 or 4 people in each class threatening to beat me up just for my existence. I truthfully never did anything to hurt anyone and would have given others a shirt off my back if needed. I was full of trust on days that trust just wasn't deserved. I remembered once while sitting in class wearing a beautiful rope ring my mama had given me. My parents didn't always have the money to buy us golden jewelry. I wasn't even sure where she got it. Who knows, maybe someone had given it to her. The point is, my mother gave me the ring as a present, and it was very special. One day, while sitting in class, a prominent African-American girl looked my way. I looked back at her with a kind smile. "That is a beautiful ring," she said. "Thank you so much," I replied. "Can I see it?" she asked. It seemed nice that she wanted to be my friend. This girl was 4 times the size of me, and many times at school she was the one that met me in the hallway, calling me names. She was the ringleader that influenced all her friends from every class to join in and make my life miserable. Finally, bygones were bygones. Maybe she had a change of heart and was developing a sense of maturity. I was grateful for this. Not to mention, my life at school was going to be better. Slowly I slipped the ring off my finger and she placed it in her pocket, never to give it back. If there was ever a time in my life where I wanted to turn the trust switch off and never on again, it was then. I was hurt, wondering why I had to see the good in people all the time. I felt so stupid that I would give her my special ring with a heart full of trust. She came back to school the next day and told me that she had given it to her mom for a present. I know I should have went to my principal, but it would have only made my life terrible. This girl had so much pull, and I knew that I would probably be found beaten up in the school parking lot if I had tried to do anything about it. They were the worst Nellies anyone should ever have to endure. At the end of the year, they destroyed my yearbook. They passed it around the room and wrote such nasty things in it that I don't even want to mention what was written. The funny thing is, some people go to school to get away from home. It was the other way around for me. I wanted to go home to get away from school. I wanted to go back to my Walnut Grove to feel loved and accepted. And every day getting off the school bus, I could see Grandma's little white house in the distance. That was my escape from reality. I knew I would be welcomed with so much love by my grandparents that it would overshadow all the harsh treatment I was getting at school. One day I tried to get my school teacher to help me, but my plea for help was not taken seriously. I began to get depressed and skipped school. It is sad to say, but I failed my grade on purpose, so hopefully those girls would be in a different class than me the next year. That didn't work. Some of them still wound up in my class because I passed physical science without even trying. Therefore, I failed my grade for the second time on purpose. I thought for sure this time they would not be in my class. However, now I was sitting in the 9th grade 3 years in a row. I felt ashamed and felt like a failure. I left public school and went to a local community college to receive my high school diploma through there. However, my education continued even after that. Because of Grandma's prayers, I persevered and graduated with an associate's in elementary education, but my full-time career turned out to be a writer and editor. I would like to say that dealing with bullies is very real. It can knock you down or make you try harder. There is always going to be a Nellie in your life, but no matter how many Nellies there are, you can learn to appreciate life. And I learned that home is the sweetest word there is. Thank you for listening to Chapter 1 of my book, A Story of a Grandma's Love. I bet you didn't really know those things about me, but God has taken all those things and turned them into good, as the Bible promises. God works all things together for good. Romans 8:28. Thank you for taking the time again to listen to this, and may God bless you, and may you have a great evening. Thank you. Goodbye.